láyé olúgbọ́n mo ké borùn méje ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé àrẹ̀sà mo ké borùn mẹ́fà ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé ìsẹ̀yìn èmi ra kókò mo ra rán mo ra sányán bàbá sọ àfọ̀lẹ́ ló lè pélé.
Hello everyone, my name is Adeyemo Adegbemiga Gani and I welcome you to my new Yoruba Abrahamic YouTube video. This will be the continuation of King David, the second series or the part 2 of it, in regards to who has been evidently established as Oduduwa from North Sudan in my first earlier video. So if you haven't watched the first part, please pause this. You need to watch that one first before coming to this, because that will enable you to connect or to relate with what I'm about to say here, because I won't be going back and forth. I'll just jump into it straight up. So let's start. Why did King David, who is also known as Oduduwa, why did he initially left Sudan? We didn't touch on that in the first series. It is already an established fact that he was a man who was generally guided by Ifa Eledumare Oracle. That is a fact. And likewise in the Torah as well, if you see King David throughout the Torah, he was known as a fan of Ifa, and till the day he actually left this world in the Torah, he still craft for the Ifa call. So naturally he was guided by Ifa throughout his life. Therefore, it was so obvious that in North Sudan, what took him from North Sudan to today's Ile-Ife was actually because the Ifa made the call on him. The Almighty. So if you ask me, why did I conclude that it was Ifa that made him to leave that side? It is basically because there is no record in today's Ile-Ife land where Oduduwa actually came from. In today's Osun state, that Oduduwa violently fought his way to become their king at Osun land. And the reason is solely because the only reason which could have led to why Oduduwa never had any issue becoming their king at Ile-Ife were basically because of two reasons. Number one of the reason is because the Ifa, or the call of the Almighty, because where Oduduwa is at North Sudan, they practice Ifa there, being a Yoruba person, because Ifa was originated from the Yoruba people. And likewise at Ile-Ife of today's Osun state too, they also practice Ifa. So the fact now remains that for the Ifa, the Almighty to have, and all Yoruba collectively in ancient days, they adhere to the call of Ifa. They respect Ifa a lot. So for Ifa, it is only Ifa that could have told Oduduwa, instructed him to leave that place to move to Ile-Ife. And it is only that same Ifa that could have told the Ile-Ife to prepare for his coming. Do you understand? Which led to why the Ife people never had, because randomly a Chinese man can't just enter Yoruba land to become their king without putting up fight, because that would rather be an invasion rather than. So this is why they call Oduduwa Ateworowogbin, because he came and he was wholeheartedly welcomed by all the Ife people, and that is down to the fact that the Ifa probably would have told them too in Ile-Ife that a Yoruba person of alike will be coming from a far distant place to become their king, and he is actually an appointed divine person of the Almighty. So that is the only way that could have made the Yoruba people to welcome him. That is number one. So through the Ifa. Number two is that it's so obvious, because I don't want people to start saying that Oduduwa is a foreigner. Oduduwa is never a foreigner. So everyone who continue to dub Oduduwa as a non-Yoruba person, they basically don't know what they are saying, because it is the Ife people probably also accepted him into their mix as well, because he was basically a typical Yoruba person just like them. He might be a man from another lineage with the Yoruba, but he speaks Yoruba, he does Yoruba, and it's from the Yoruba tradition, which was why it was easier for him to integrate it at Ile-Ife with the indigenes and become a king there without issue. So that is the two factor that could have led to why Oduduwa was chosen as king, and he integrated easily all the way after him journeying to Ile-Ife. So, and you can as well see. So, and this is also a fact for those who still continue to doubt that Oduduwa is King David, because I see my fellow Yoruba traditionalists or even my Torah people that continue to say Oduduwa can't be King David. This will actually blow your mind. If it doesn't, I don't know what else could. If you check out how King David, because Oduduwa was actually the first Oni Risha, who started the legacy of Oni Risha at Ile-Ife, and those who now succeeded him up to today, like Ojaja or they actually followed the footsteps of Oduduwa, because he basically founded the dynasty throne at Ile-Ife. That doesn't mean there are no kings before Oduduwa. Don't misquote me. There are kings before Oduduwa. The Oduduwa dynasty became the most utmost, because if you check out the Torah, he is the very appointed one which the Almighty chooses to rule the entire world. From Ile-Ife, that was Shuntre as Oni the first. If you now check how King David was ritually made as king through coronation, the Isheshe tradition, the rite which he did, it is stated in that same Torah, and it is the exact pattern which the today's Ojaja did, because this is a legacy and heritage, a practice that was laid on ground as foundation from King David of the Torah, which Ojaja of today's Onirisha still practices. Go and check it. So there is no two ways about it. What King David did was the same thing which Ojaja did, and King David did it thousands of years ago. Ojaja is the current heir of King David, so Onirisha is actually on the throne of the King David who founded Ile-Ife. You can go and check it. This doesn't need a rocket science. It's a common sense now. It doesn't need any mago. It's just a common sense. You can go and make your finding. So in a nutshell, Oduduwa is obviously the same person as King David. That is for a fact. True Isheshe, right? So why did King David made it to Ile-Ife? The only reason why he actually made it to Ile-Ife was just because he had bigger tax. The Almighty Oledumare wanted to use him for something more critical among the Europeans, because prior to the coming of Oduduwa to Ile-Ife, King David from his Makori Adogola kingdom in North Sudan, prior to then, there are different Yorubas across beyond West Africa, across Africa, and these Yoruba people, most of them don't actually recognize themselves. So most of them, and those who does among this ethnic side, they continue to fight among themselves because of supremacy. They fight for supremacy battle, political issue, right here and center. So in a nutshell, the Yoruba ethnic groups of people were not united at all. Like in some cases, the one I can relate with, we founded it that the Egba people continues to fight their fellow Oyo people. They had issue with them. The Ife people also continue to wage war against the Bini Yoruba people, not the Bini of Igbo, because they are Bini of Igbo who now, of modern time, who now has intermixed marriages with the Igbo. I'm talking about the Bini people who are originally from the Edo, who are Yoruba people, because the Bini are Yoruba. The father of the Bini, Obadia, is also the elder brother to Omishore at Ondo. They both live in Sudan before they migrated to that place. So I'm talking about the original Bini, not the ones who have been mixing up with some other people. Even the Igbos too are related to the Yoruba people, but from the mother side. So we're talking from the father side now. So the Ife people also continue to wage war against the Bini, at least, which was what led to Oromiyan. You know those stories. The Oyo people, pre-early stage of Oyo people, were actually having supremacy dispute with the likes of the Dahomey, and likewise the Gadange in Ghana. They also have some political drama with the likes of another tribe in Songhai. I think maybe Sonike or something. They are also the Yoruba ethnic groups of people across Africa were having serious misunderstandings among themselves, and which continue to result to wars and loss of life. So the reason why the Almighty now chooses Oba Oduduwa, which is King David, after crowning him with the mercy of the heaven, making him the king ruler of Ile-Ife, the king ruler of the entire world. So he was the one who now fought the battle. He made sure that he went to all the ethnic side of the Yoruba people across Africa, fought them and humbled them, and had to force them to unite. Because among these ethnic side, there were so many stubborn people among them that doesn't want peace to reign. But being Oduduwa, he being the king of the world with the might of with the support of the Almighty, he was able to achieve that goal a lot. Even after when he grew old, he lost his two sides because he faced too much pressure. You know, we Yoruba people, we are tough people to deal with. Authentic conspiracy is just too much among us. It's just the way heaven has created us. So Oduduwa became the king of the Yorubas within West Africa. He became the king of the non-Yorubas inside Africa. He became the king of the entire humanity, including the Caucasian as well, and he ruled among them with justice, fairness, as the Almighty has told him to. So what later, one of the problem he faces when he became the king of Ile-Ife, when the king of the world from the Osun trade as the first Ooni, or as the first one that established a dynasty as Otun. One of the challenges is the only ethnic side he had more challenges were the Ijebu people. The Ijebu people, let me tell you something you don't know about the Ijebu people. The Ijebu people, they are very ancient. Their existence predates the complete emergence of Oduduwa. They know the father is like Oduduwa is like a great grandson to them. So the Ijebu people knows their worth. They know that they are extremely ancient. Let me further go deeper. In the ancient days, there are more than 7 to 8 Ile-Ife according to Ifa. I think if I guess more than like 7 to 8 according to Ifa also. Please, my traditional people, correct me if I'm wrong. But I know there are more than 7 or 8 Ile-Ife. But among those two, among those 7, there are just 2 major ones. And the first one was actually today's Ile-Ife of Osun State, which humanity generally started from. And the second Ile-Ife, the major second Ile-Ife, is the one which was founded by the Jebu people through Lamurudu, Nimrod, and through Baba Oluwa, which is why which is at today's Nubian land, Onuiwabi, Omo Nuwabia, or Nubi, that became Nubian. So those are the 2 Ile-Ife that were the major Ile-Ife in the ancient day. I think the major in the southwest of today's Ile-Ife, I don't know, Onyomofe. People of Ife, please don't be angry. I can't be telling your story because you will come for me. But the other Ile-Ife is the one they call Owa Adaye, Ife Owa Adaye. These Owa Adaye are the Ijebu people and some of the Ondo people that dwell across North Sudan. That Wadai collectively now gave birth to the concept of Wadai, and that Wadai became a clan at North Sudan. These are the clan which minority now fled back to today's southwest of Nigeria at Ijebu, where their majority Ijebu kind dwelled when the Persian invasion persisted in North Africa. So they fled, they left all their belongings in that place because the Ifa told them to flee that place, just like Ifa told Oduduwa to leave that place, because that place is just a temporary place. It's not their original home. So they left that place. All of them fled back to West Africa when the invasions of the Persian Arab, the Pale Arab persisted there, and the Romans came, all these things. So the North Sudan, they are known as the Ijebu. Right? So these Ijebu are of 2 sides. Majority Ijebu in West Africa and the minority Ijebu in North Africa. Do you get that? And the minority in Ijebu, their location is Jebubaka, like I detail in my previous video. Jebubaka ni Ile Akpata. That Ile Akpata was what they call Nakpata. And that Nakpata, this is why the Torah identifies as Jebusites at the mountain area. Do you understand? Jebusites at the mountain area is like Ijebu ni Ile Akpata. Akpata means mountain in Yoruba land. So Jebusite at the mountain. So sometimes they are being dubbed as Jebus. Sometimes they are dubbed as Jebusites. And the Nakpata area is so we now have Jebusite at the Ijebu ni Sale, Ijebu ni Oke. Another Yoruba word for Akpata is Oke, e.g. Oke Olumo, Oke Olumo ni Ijero, Oke Olumo ni Ijero, Kilimanjaro in East Africa, where the Jebu people are. This is why I said Kilimanjaro was derived from Oke Olumo ni Ijero. It is a pure Yoruba reflected name through the minority Yoruba that dwell across North Sudan. Do you understand? So we have Oke Olumo ni Egba. We in today's southwest of Nigeria. These are migrants of Yoruba people that go back and forth. And you can as well see, like I said in my earlier map, Sudan map started from today's West Africa and ended at the land of East Africa, where Oke Olumo ni Ijero. So these are the same group of people that goes back and forth for businesses, for civilization benefit, stuff like that. They are the same people. They dominated the entire area because they are one different ethnic side from one single tribe. So we now, in a nutshell, we now have two Ijebu, Oke Olumo, Ijebu at Napata, Ijebu at lowland region, Ijebu. So that Jebu ni Isale, that is Ijebu without mountain, or Ijebu with mountain. That is where the concept of Jerusalem came from. Jebu ni Isale became Jerusalem. You can call them as Jebu, you can call Jebus, you can call them as Gebu, you can call them Jebusites. This is all about the one group of Ijebu which are different, which are distinct from the other Ijebu side. So to me personally, Jerusalem should be only within the North Sudan to the East Africa. Any other kind of Jerusalem doesn't align with reality, and I will tell you the reason at the end of this video. So in a nutshell, these Jebu people, they gave Oba Oduduwa a tough time, and the reason is because they know their worth. They knew that they are actually ancient before Oduduwa. That Oduduwa was like a kid to them, that how can you just emerge from somewhere and want to humble us? They find it very hard to humble themselves. But with the grace of the Almighty, King David, which is Oduduwa, was able to humble them by force, and he was able to maintain peace among all the ethnic sides which he subdued through his children, because I think he had about 8 wives, just like Oba Oduduwa in Yoruba land too had 8 wives, and from those children, each son from those 8 wives were now sent to govern each of the ethnic locations where Oduduwa, King David, conquered. So they now bring reports back to Oduduwa at Ile-Ife, because Oduduwa must not leave the utmost king palace at all in Irisha and in Osun State. So Oduduwa was like imposing his children upon the ethnic side, not to destroy them or to cause problem, but to make sure that peace continued to reign. Do you understand? So that is a deeper story from another side. I can't be touching on that. That is an entire new story. But I related everything together in my book. I just pray my book should be out very soon, because I'm trying my very possible best. I just need to, first of all, I need to how will I say? I need to secure it first before I publish it, because the content might be stolen. You know what I mean, Sha? So all of this now, this is signify why the Almighty now basically want Oduduwa to become the king of the world, because he needed a fellow Yoruba person who his people might be able to relate with, obey, and empower, encouraging, and also enable him to do the tasks of the heaven. Because if you check out Oduduwa, like I said in my earlier video, his children are the Sudan, and you can see the length of where the Sudan over. So if I'm telling you that Oba Halara is the same person as his brother is Oba Hajero, that founded the civilization in North Sudan, is not a fluke. It's just the reality. This is why the Sudan map stretches from West Africa to, they are the same set of Yoruba people, and most of them are seeds. Omo ti Oduduwa bi, they ruled from today West Africa to North Sudan. They go back and forth, and the likes of the Oduduwa, his siblings, his own siblings, flesh and blood, they are the today's people, like the Takwa. Takwa was a name that was derived from Napta in some of the Akobi son. The TV whatever, in the Simeon, the Reuben, Urobo, the the Benjamin. I listed it in my books. So they are the direct brother of Oduduwa. They are the direct brother of Oduduwa. So they are the one we can categorize as the Judah, Oduduwa. They are the Judas among themselves. Why the likes of Yehuda, Oduduwa are people who are related to the Oduduwa people, like some of the people of the Dahomey. Awa ni Oduduwa, Awa Wahida, Awa Eyan Oduduwa, from the Wahida, from the Dahomey slave coast. So the Oduduwa basically have all his family dominating different sides of Africa in ancient days, and that's been why he was able to rule the entire Africa and the entire world, right from today's Osun throne as the first Oni, whose dynasty emerged from the central Yoruba kingdom. So that is where Oduduwa, that is the legacy of Oduduwa within from Yoruba land. So let me now quickly touch on the common argument. For the common argument, you will always hear some people, they will say, because I've seen it in my previous video, in the comments within my video, someone said Oduduwa date is just of recent, so Oduduwa can actually be King David. They are different people. I need Africans to have an advanced thinking. Every date that are given to the West African people or their civilization are inaccurate. Most times are inaccurate. But for the record reason, for us to be able to align with what happened before each other, we just have to take it into an account. But that doesn't mean they are really. Let me give you one. Like, it is commonly said that Adam and Eve story started within around the 424,203, 4223 BC. I think it should be around 6,000 years ago. That is when they said the story of Adam and Eve did started. Whereas these same people of recent time, they said the ghost DNA of the West African people is about 15,000, half a million years ago. These are contradictions. So don't make your opinion to be on dates too much. There are politics in this. They want to shorten the existence of the Yoruba people. Sometimes I will say that civilization at Ife started within the 18th century or 9th century or whatever. They could have said civilization which they acknowledge started with not the real civilization. We are talking about thousands of years old. They said the ghost DNA they identified that the Yoruba people of West Africa have been existing for about 500,000 years ago. So how can civilization now start a couple of years ago? So those people that are living there, they were actually bush and monkey. Sometimes we Africans, we have to use our brain, or except you are part of the issue that don't want to use your brain, because not everything that comes from the West are true. They are all political, and we know from the caste system of the world, the whiter your skin is, the privilege the more your history shall be whiteified, be promoted. So the darkest people of the world, we always have a backstabbed history. Like they said, if you further go, then they will say Seth came from 4093 BC. Enoch 3000. Well, the Yorubas are millions of years old. The Africans are older than all these people. So even though the Adam and Eve story were actually stories that were stolen from Africa, it's not of recent time. This is what I'm telling you. The Europeans that are even giving you time that you so much believe in, they themselves are just couple of thousands of years old. The Africans have been existing thousands of years before the first set of Europeans emerged. It's a common sense. So for anybody to be using that as an argument to say Oduduwa is not King David, you need to have a rethink. You need to think deeper. You have to be a critical thinker before you can align. You can be able to acknowledge what I'm saying. So that is it. And for those who actually continue to argue that Jerusalem should be within the Zimbabwe, South Africa, all these things, if you check the as late as 1840, this say 17th century or 1840 or so, as late as 1840, from Congo Basin, which comprised about 3.7 million tropical rainforest by landmarks or basin, was actually an unexploited region. Nobody seems to live there, and even though if they are living there, even though they are, no civilization seems to be known basically from that place. As in, not that civilization isn't here, but the only reason why regions are always unexplored is because of three factors. There are no interesting stories there that can really motivate or make it to the history. People who are living there are not really much. It's not much an habitable area that much. The way e.g. like the Aborigines in Australia, they cut themselves out of civilization, but that doesn't mean people aren't living there. But the civilization there doesn't really warrant many people until they mistakenly until explorer mistakenly so they are cut out of civilization. But this story of King David is an advanced civilization. The story of the Yoruba and advanced civilization, you can see that even when the Greeks, the earliest Caucasian, when they came to Africa, they could only identify with the ancient Ethiopia and also the Egyptian, because that is where the real deals, the real civilizations are happening, and it cannot be hidden. They identify with the Ethiopians and also the Egyptian. It's not as if there are no other tribes in Africa, but these are the people these are the major colonies they were able to focus on, and those places were within West Africa to North Africa, not the Central Africa to the southern part of Africa. So if we are dealing with 1,000-year story, you can't expect it to be so. For those people to say Jerusalem is at the bottom of South Africa, you ask how old is South Africa as a whole? Because the last time I checked, they are under the Bantu in subgroups, and the founder of the Bantu people are actually the Yoruba that dominated the Central Africa from the Lihango region. Before they now change, this is why we have like a sub-Bantu. So, and even the father of the Bantu, he migrated all the way down from Oyo. So how can Jerusalem? So that is another. I don't want to argue. This is why I don't touch much on many African history, because I don't want it to be as if I'm here to counter my African people's pride. I rather focus on the Yoruba narrative, so anyone can extensively pick rather one point or the other to fit their own narrative as well. But I am saying it based on, because I am a Yoruba and I'm so focusing on my Yoruba people, my history, thousands of years. So for the traditionalists that can also continue to say that Yoruba history should be limited to today's Southwest, you are killing our history. You are killing our pride. Don't let your education to be influenced by arrogancy. The Yoruba that you are desperately wanting to limit to today's Southwest inside today's Nigeria is incomplete. Those people who say we should not take history out of today's Southwest of Nigeria, ask them the most simplest question: what is the origin of the Yoruba people? They don't know it. I even received some comment that said anything that is not attributed to Ifa story, that I should not say it anymore. Then I asked them, what does Ifa said about Oduduwa? You will realize that those people don't even understand Ifa, because if you understand Ifa doesn't tell a story. Ifa only give you hints. So I am doing this so that we understand. You have a bigger perspective of what we are capable of in ancient days, and know what the British limited us to today, intelligently, by colony. And I will see everyone in my next video. So this is where we shall be coming to an end. But from the next video I will start picking more reference, because after the Oduduwa, the Yoruba people dominated Africa and the world, and through the influence, the political strength of Oduduwa, we began to explore the rest of the world. We began to migrate to America, Europe. The founders of those places were actually black people. America, Europe, Asia, they were actually black people, and most of them Some of them came from the Jebu. Majority of them came from the Jebu, while some of them came from the Negro land. I will start touching on that. You will start seeing how we continue to migrate. So I will see you in my next video. Please help me press the like button, help me subscribe, share this video, make your comment known below respectively, and I will answer everybody amicably. Please, we don't let us argue. We are just here to learn, especially my own kind of people. Please, my Yoruba people, ọgbọ́n máa ń pa wá lára gan, a dẹ̀ máa ń jẹra wa lẹ́sẹ̀. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ torí Ọlọ́run, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀tẹ̀ níbí bí. Say whatever you want to say. Make your point known. You don't need to insult anybody. Make your point known. So may the Almighty continue to heal us. I'll see you in my next video, and bye for now.